live and good. I'm so glad. I'm so glad to be here with you guys tonight. So let me introduce myself. So I am Jennifer Strother, and I am the CEO and creator of Thrive Well Solutions because I believe our bodies were created for wellness. Okay, so we were created to thrive. We were created to thrive well. We were created to live in peace and harmony without all the pain and struggling and confusion that we go through today. So I do want to share with you, let me share with you some slides and get those from my computer. But I've created a presentation for you all tonight just to explain to you my heart, okay? My heart behind doing this, behind serving others, behind how we got here. How did our family get here? I actually started a health and wellness journey at the age of 4 when my mother was diagnosed with cancer. It was not something unusual for her to say, you know, we're not going to have hot dogs, we're not going to have margarine. So we grew up with a very nutritional focus. And with that, I did not know what God was preparing me for down the road, but I'm so thankful that I had that intuition and that knowledge to help my family, especially my 9-year-old son. So tonight's presentation is called Stop Guessing, Start Thriving. Like, I do not want you to go another day thinking that your undiagnosed or unexplained symptoms are there to stay with you for eternity and for the rest of your life. No, you were created to move around, enjoy your days, have energy, start your cycle on time, live and breathe and, normally without respiratory congestion. And that is what I see so often. But then the pain of our stomach, knees, arthritis, fibromyalgia, all those things, we were created to just live and thrive. Slide 2 is like blank. All right. It was a picture of my family. So let me just tell you about my family. So you are what you eat. But my family, I have a family with 5 beautiful children, ranging from 27 to 9. There's this huge age gap. And if you look down the line of our children, there was a gut symptom the whole time, whether it was ADHD and we had to come off of that medication and learn how to, to live without that and control it with food. Control it with I'm sure a lot of people have heard, removing the dyes from the food, but there's other triggers as well that trigger our body with inflammation that allow our brains not to work appropriately. There is a brain-gut connection that is huge. When my youngest was born, he was first in the hospital having a sleep study done at 9 months. It was a very extreme respiratory condition that was undiagnosed. And I will talk about that throughout the presentation and just give some nuggets here and there on that struggle. But it was completely a struggle bus. Functional medicine became a rescue source for me because I had, traditional medicine honestly had failed us. We were not able to get answers. I had bounced from Huntsville area to Birmingham to Atlanta to Chicago and just doing this doctor tour of not getting answers. So if that is you, put a comment down below, put a comment in the comment box that that is, and for if anybody's joining on Zoom, I'm going to stop again. If anybody's joining on Zoom, I put a link in the chat box of where you can go to join us tonight to see the live presentation, to see the slideshow presentation as well. So, when we were looking for answers, I found nutrition to be the only source of healing. So your diet can be both the cause and the treatment. For us, what we were eating was causing the symptoms. Okay. It was causing the symptoms. Let's think about this. What are your symptoms tonight? Do you have acne? Do you have respiratory illness? Do you have postnasal drip? Do you have arthritis? Do you have pain? Do you have discomfort in your stomach? Do you have bloating, gas, constipation, diarrhea? Let me tell you, it is due to what you're eating. But you can fix it also by what you eat. Okay, we may need to find a few things to pull away from to decrease some inflammation, but the body heals miraculously. My son, I had mentioned before, had 24 foods that were causing inflammation, and we are down to 5. That is through gut healing. All right, that's healing the gut, the GI lining, strengthening that so it decreases a domino effect of increased symptoms. So trust your gut. All right, I know a lot of times we hear, what does your gut tell you? When we're making decisions in other areas of life, we're constantly going, well, what do you feel in your gut? And we don't think about that, but it is so true that statement comes over into our day-to-day and into our medical decisions. And whether you're feeling, discomfort or simply wanting to question answers, like especially if you go to the doctor, you're told everything looks good, but you actually feel like crap. In your stomach that you're not good, okay? That everything's not A-okay. You know that. So common symptoms related to gut health, if you can't read this, that's okay. That it wasn't necessarily meant to be read. So this just tells you there's so much here related to our GI system. Many of these we were actually battling in our own family. I wish I had been able to show you that picture of our family, but if you see me on Facebook, you'll see the family. And I just loved the fact that really having a gut focus, I was able to heal every member of our family. I have older children who are not living with me right now that continue to eat a gluten-free diet because it has just shown such an improvement in mood, happiness, everything. So not only digestive disorders, a lot of times that's what we think of when we think of our GI system: gas, bloating, constipation, nausea, diarrhea, irritable bowel. I'm going to talk about that here in a minute though. Skin issues, food sensitivities, thyroid disorders. Do you know that the usable form of thyroid is actually converted in your gut? So if your gut is not well, then you are going to have thyroid problems. That conversion is not going to be able to take place. You will have hair loss as a result. All right, autoimmune diseases, the immune system is all out of whack. That is a direct correlation with your gut system and how healthy or unhealthy that is. Now, this next one, autism, EOE, and MCAS, that is something we battle in our home. Okay, that was a huge eye opener for me. Those last 2, EOE and MCAS, were 2 that I had never heard of before, but it actually stems from the bone marrow. And it's in an overreactive state, producing too many histamines, so your body's constantly fighting itself. All right, and that leads to allergies and histamines. So go down this list: PCOS, brain fog, fatigue, sinus pressure, migraines. I hear this all the time as clients are coming to me looking for help. Migraines, all right, those are going quick. Chronic ear infections. All right, if your child is constantly having ear infections, or if someone in your family is, it is related to the gut. The gut is not healthy. The bacteria is out of balance. All right. So also yeast infections. I love to look at bacteria overgrowth, candida, yeast. Is that causing our bodies not to absorb nutrients? Lack of absorption, dehydration. I could go on and on. All of these things, though, are related to our GI system. Now, here's something eye-opening. You saw the big, long list. Many of those fit into this category. And this is something that I feel is very important for you to know if you have been diagnosed with one of these things. I hate to call it, it's not a disease. I don't want you to think it's anything that you're like born to live with forever. And you're not necessarily destined to have this, but it is a GI and it's a gut immune response. And I will tell you that a diagnosis of exclusion is because they have looked at everything else and cannot pinpoint what is wrong with you. All right, so it's a guess. This is why I say stop guessing. What I did not know when I started this journey that IBS is a diagnosis of exclusion. They don't know what else is wrong with you. They cannot pinpoint what else is wrong with you, so they diagnose you with IBS. And they keep treating symptom after symptom after symptom. Eczema, the skin breakdown, the rashes, you go in there like, well, we don't know what's causing it, but we're going to diagnose you with eczema. Do you know why you have to have a diagnosis at the doctor's office? So they can prescribe you something. Okay. I'm not looking to prescribe you anything. I'm looking to heal you. That's why I don't focus on the diagnosis. I don't focus on what you have. I don't focus on anything other than healing those symptoms. We may categorize it. Like if I go back to the slide before, it's important from a food perspective to know if you do have a histamine overload right here. That is important, but it is not important for me to know, like from any other standpoint, why you have that. Now you can eat and get in a bad mood and have pain, fibromyalgia, unknown pain of the fibers, eczema, unknown rash of the skin. Why did I put inflammatory celiac here? Well, celiac disease can be diagnosed in one of two ways, or they can do a double diagnosis. So inflammatory celiac is where you've tested negative to the blood test. So if anybody here has been tested for celiac, comment below celiac. Like, let me know something that you dealt with where we have that common ground. So if you test negative on the blood test for celiac, they're going to say, okay, let's come in and do an endoscopy, colonoscopy, whatever, up or lower. And if there is inflammation of the duodenum and inflammation in that GI tract, you may end up with a celiac diagnosis. But the blood test was negative. So that is inflammatory celiac. They don't know what's caused that inflammation in there. That's what happened to us. Okay. My son was put under, he was scoped. He was actually on the aerodigestive team down in Birmingham, a very, very, very highly recognized team of doctors where it's pulmonology, ENT, and GI all together. He was always seen by the team of doctors. We thought we had found the icing on the cupcake when we got there. So all three of those doctors were in the operating room with him. We came back with a diagnosis of celiac. I can tell you to this day, as long as he eats gluten away from his other triggers, he can eat gluten. We have gotten a vegan paleo cinnamon roll as a treat, and it has done nothing for his body, nothing to his body. But if he eats it with corn or egg, it is like the fuel on the fire. Okay. So it's not necessarily always the one thing that's causing the reaction. It can be the combination of what you're eating. He is highly allergic, very allergic to egg and corn from an inflammatory, respiratory GI way. He is, but it is an IgE allergy. There's IgE, IgG. We can go through all that. But what I will say is he has never had an anaphylactic reaction to it. So that an anaphylaxis reaction is not always connected to the allergy. We have to look at those inflammatory reactions. All right, if you have any questions, also put that down below. I want to see who all's with us tonight and what kind of questions we have, who is having different symptoms, so we can go through and combat these one by one. All right, who is this for? So I want you to let this sink in and hit home. If you simply don't feel good, let's address that. All right, and if you're not willing to settle for some other answer. I mean, hello, that gets pretty annoying, right? All right, very annoying if the doctors are just asking us to settle. Those that just simply want to get your life back. You feel like this lady where you were laying on the table, exhausted, ready to go to bed all the time, not having the energy to get up and move and think and just live your life. Let's get your life back. All right. If you want a permanent solution and not a limited fix, I do not want a Band-Aid. I want to live my life and have my children live their life in a thriving manner. Okay. Full blast. The whole work hard, play hard. Yes, let's play hard. Totally believe in it. All right. So we're tired of those Band-Aids and tired of everything else just not feeling well. All right. You're getting no answers, getting nowhere, and still not feeling well. All right, here's a testimony I want to tell you. And just because I do deal with some medical stuff, I'm not going to disclose everybody's name because I'm going to get a little detailed here. But I love my clients. Okay, so this client came to me totally feeling like crud, allergic to everything, is what she said. I'm allergic to everything, internal, external, everything. On 12 medications, visiting a doctor every 3 months for a checkup and a medication refill. All right, do you have that kind of time to go to a doctor, schedule doctor's appointments, drive there, go there? If you're still working, go get off work and go. Even if you have the time, wouldn't you rather be doing something else with your time? All right, yes. We want to be doing something else with our time. So every 3 months for medication refills and a check-in. Gallbladder issues, IBS, GERD, acid reflux, struggling with weight. All right. We did we did some testing on her. I believe in testing. I love doing food inflammatory testing, see what's triggering your body and causing inflammation, see what's causing this list of symptoms. We removed some foods, not a ton, but some. Okay. Took the results to her allergist, and they didn't ask one question. They put it in the file and kept on flipping. She said she continued to tell them how much better she felt after removing all those foods. And she really was looking for some conversation, like a partnership. And she just called me and she's like, there is no partnership there. They're not concerned with that. I feel 100% better. She really want like a high five, some acknowledgement, something. If you don't feel like you have somebody on that, on that level with you, you need somebody. We need a high five. We need to say yes, and celebrate those successes. So go back. I said she's on 12 medications and visiting the doctor every 3 months for medication refills. She is currently off all medications. Now, she is still in my 6-month program, so we didn't take 6 months. I'm telling you, on average, 2. All right. Off all medications, and now only going to the doctor every 5 years as needed for colonoscopy and endoscopy. Her last visit, I said, hey, how are you doing? Doing great. Mic drop. Boom. How about if that were you? Doing great. No explanation, no, but this, but that, the negativity gone. All right, gone. It was just so eye-opening, so enlightening, so encouraging. That is the kind of stories I love to hear. All right, so why did my family gravitate to functional medicine? Well, functional medicine looks at the root cause. They bring you hope. Okay. It's not the Band-Aid. And then we work hand in hand with other doctors, with your functional medicine team, with your traditional medicine team. If you can go, if we can go get blood work done and stuff like that elsewhere, let's pull those team members in and take advantage of everything at your disposal. But I want to empower you to be that patient advocate for you, to use me, to use them for complete healing from the inside out. Then I gravitated to functional nutrition. Number one, I'm a foodie. Okay. Love food. Love it. Not that I love to cook, don't get me wrong, but I love food. I loved eating out. I did like cooking. I liked recreating the meals that I could eat in the store or find in like a fancy restaurant and bring that home and imitate that for my family of 7. If my husband and I had gone on date night and had something yummy, I could always be like, there's this in there, there's this in there. I was really good at dissecting that food. Well, now I dissect medical labs. All right, testing. I help you identify those food groups that don't necessarily identify with you. All right, well, I'm not talking about the food guide pyramid, but what if we need to look at lectins? What if we need to look at histamines? What if we need to look at legumes? That is the same thing as the nuts. Okay, there is this whole big awareness of responses to peanuts and varieties of nuts, tree nuts. But there's other categories too. So going and getting some blood testing done in other places, you don't necessarily get that help, because if there is a green reaction, if anybody's ever done any tests, the green reactions, they tell you don't necessarily have to avoid. But if there's a lot of green reactions in a particular food group, then you do need to avoid that, because your bucket can get too full. All right, your system can go into overload. Well, functional nutrition gives you the ability to fuel your body in the best way possible. All right, and what I mean by that, your mind feels good, your body feels good, you're free of aches and pains, you're free of headaches, and you can make a conscious decision on what to do with the rest of your health and wellness. A lot of times we just don't even feel good to put one foot in front of the other. So if you want to lose weight, you can't lose weight. I mean, you can't even get off the couch sometimes. All right, you're fatigued. You can't get off and go do anything. And then most importantly, a functional nutrition plan is not a diet. All right, I hate the word. I cannot stand it, but it is not a diet. It is something that is we change behavioral habits and make decisions based off of the knowledge that we get from the testing. All right, and what does that look like? Maybe you are not, maybe you have an inflammatory reaction to, let's say, eggs. All right, eggs is one that's really popping up more and more in today's society. Maybe it's because of how our chicken houses are being raised and the chemicals in them and the way our body was not supposed to process that. I don't know quite yet. Okay, I do know that we can have some farm-raised duck eggs, because the protein in the duck egg is different than that of the chicken. So it's a mystery. And I've done some research on it, but I'd have to dig into it more. Most importantly, here's what I do know. I know that eggs do not react very well in our body. Not mine. Actually, 3 of the 4 of us living at home right now have a negative reaction to eggs. But what I know with that is that we can't eat eggs every day. Okay. We can, if we go out to breakfast or something, have an egg on an occasion. But if it causes the negative reaction, we need to pull away from that and give our body time to rest. All right. What happens when your husband or a child comes in the afternoon, they trigger you? All right. You want to walk away and have a break. That's what your body is asking you to do. That's what functional nutrition gives us the ability to do. Take the knowledge and then treat ourselves in a very holistic, sustainable manner so you can make it a lifelong decision. It is not a deprivation. It is that we serve our bodies. Here's another client at a 30-day check-in. All right, we were in the process of combating candida, which was wonderful, going very well. Bathroom completely regular. This is no constipation, no diarrhea, regular BM. So I know the detoxification is happening on a regular basis. That is why we need to use the bathroom. It is the best detoxification pathway. All right, blood pressure was down, no more brain fog, energy, motivation, clarity, down 14 pounds. Okay, that's huge in 30 days. How does that happen? We often hear that's not done very in a healthy manner. Well, let me tell you this, he was eating a very nutritional plan. And sometimes that 14 pounds is inflammation that is being stored in the cell, and it's toxicity, and we're getting rid of that crap. Like, done. I'm like, I just don't have patience for that. So I'm a very efficient simple person. I want to get down to that root cause and get rid of it. And I want that for you too. So when you heal your gut, you heal so many areas of your body. All right. There's a huge brain gut connection with stress and anxiety, and even the heart. Heart month last month, I spent a lot of time looking at the heart and how the inflammation can affect our veins and then affect buildup of our arteries. Our skin, acne is very common, eczema, rosacea, psoriasis, oral health. All right, how many people have flossed? And from time to time, there's inflammation and it's more bloody than normal. I want you to know that that is indicative of the inflammation that's going on in your GI system. Liver, the liver is the only filtration system of your body. We have to love our liver, and treating that from a very positive standpoint with decreasing toxins and looking at toxicity is very important. Your immune system, we have since over the last 2 years, that immune system has been beat up, but this is how we focus on our immune system, by focusing on the gut and hormones. I had a sweet, sweet client message me just earlier this week and say, I finally started for the first time on time, like first time in a long time. We were even having a hard time getting some hormone testing done because the cycle was so out of balance. All right. And we're there already. What would that mean to you to get all those things regulated with that gut-centered focus? So how do I do this? All right. How do I recommend moving forward with that focus? And I personally like I mentioned, I like efficiency and I like simple, and I like something that can be lifelong and sustainable. So I have a simple 5-step process that provides you with a personalized plan. So somebody asked me, well, what kind of diet do you provide? And I'm like, that is, your diet. So if I'm talking to Emily, that is Emily's diet. Okay. If I'm talking to Brian, that is Brian's diet. It is a very personalized plan based off of the results that we receive from your food sensitivity report, based off of your digestive symptoms, based off of your skin issues, your hormone imbalance, your sleep cycle, your not so sleepy cycle. Who's not sleeping, let me know. But also on weight management, how important is that to you? If it's very, very important and you're going to be hyper-focused on that, then we may need to go down a different route for you. But it has to be healthy. It has to be focused on treating the body from the inside out with an inflammatory cellular focus. All right, so the 5-step plan is we remove things that are triggering your body in a negative way, replace that with nutrition, make sure you're absorbing the nutrition. Lack of absorption is huge right here. That's where we have to repair our body, reintroduce foods. This is why I say it's not forever. We bring them back. All right, guys, we went from 24 food sensitivities with my son down to 5 with this simple repair mechanism. Reintroducing those foods and then rebalancing the body so you can live energetically, thrive, play the sports, do all the things without being weighed down in pain and in discomfort. So if you have been with me for a while, my little slogan is test, reset, thrive. Just real simple. We've got to test the body. All right. I do not like a blind elimination diet. All right. The reason is you, like I spoke to someone earlier this week and it's like, well, I removed this and then I removed this and then I removed this. And it's like, how do you know what you're removing when and what the thing is? Like, it's just so much time too. Like it's a lot to keep up with. It's a lot of time. I will tell you, we did some elimination dieting and trying to figure it out on our own. But let me tell you, when you have an egg and a corn allergy, there is corn syrup in everything. There's corn starch in everything. Your spices in the grocery store have corn starch in it as an anti-caking agent. Every processed food has corn on it. Chicken at the grocery store is covered in yeast. Look at the ingredient label. You will see yeast in a good chicken breast package. All right, so if you have a yeast imbalance, if you have food triggers, if you have candida overgrowth, if you have bacteria overgrowth, all these things are going to matter. But back to the corn and the egg, I would have never guessed that because we were seasoning our food. We were eating things that were, processed, put together. A whole food is like chicken, broccoli, asparagus, like where I'm just getting it from the produce section and nothing else. Now that can take a long, long time if you're just doing a blind elimination diet. So testing allows you in a timely manner to get clarity to the situation, build confidence around those decisions, and move forward. That way your body can reset all at one time. If you're only removing one trigger at a time, you can imagine that the body's not going to have a full reset. You may get some relief, but I'm talking about a full reset where we remove toxins, we remove triggers, we remove replace it with nutrients because nutrients have been removed. I talk about absorption. Many of my clients are not absorbing. The inflammation in the gut eliminates your body from absorbing nutrients. You could be buying the best supplements on the market, spending hundreds of dollars, and it's going straight through you and not absorbing. So we need to look at that inflammation in the GI system to see if things are just passing through. Your water can pass through. So be careful, all right? Be careful of just doing like guessing. We want to stop guessing. And then we want to get to a point where we're thriving, we're feeling better, we're looking better, we're having more energy, we have an increased mood. Stress management becomes so much easier, all right? We are going to encounter stress in our life, but how do you manage that? Do you manage it by losing your head or by having a realistic approach? You sleep better. All right. You need to go to sleep and you need to wake up feeling good. If not, we're going to test that. All right. We're going to test why not. I want you to have free movement, hormone stability, a strong immune system, weight stability, and glowing skin. I want your skin to be glowing and just thriving. All right, here's another client. Now, I told you I don't like diet, and I really don't like being hyper-focused on weight management. But when it's important to you, it's important to me. Okay, this client in particular is down 60 pounds. Now, you have to say, did she lose all of that in the 6 months? Well, we're not finished with our 6 months. Okay, so we've not even got there yet. But no, she lost 20 pounds before she came to me, but she got stuck. How many people have lost 10, 15, 20 pounds and just got stuck? So she was stuck at a point at this plateau, completely discouraged, getting nowhere. And when we looked at what she was sensitive to, what was causing the and let me just back up. She had lost 20 pounds, but she felt like crap. All right. No sleep schedule at all, hard to fall asleep, waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning, couldn't move, her feet were hurting so bad. I'm talking the 20 pounds did not relieve those symptoms. Okay, so when you look at what's causing the weight or what's the weight causing, kind of like the food. All right, did the chicken come before the egg or what? All right, don't put the cart before the horse. But after losing 20 pounds, she was in worse shape, feeling tired, lethargic, tons of pain. When we found out what was causing that inflammation in her body, a huge part of that was peanuts. A slight part of that was almonds. We're being able to bring that back now. But the biggest part of that was peanuts. Well, guess what she was eating? A ton of protein bars with peanuts, soy, peanuts, those things that are messing up the hormone system, that are causing inflammation. So getting that away and being able to identify that, lost 40 more pounds for a total of 60. Sleeping better, going to the bathroom regular, pain gone, no more hair loss. Leg cramps have stopped. That goes back to sleeping better. All right. Full night's sleep is so important. So what's next? Well, I love this little block up here. Like, the time is now. If you're not feeling good, I don't know, like, you have to think about what do I want to look, where do I want to be in 6 months? Where do I want to be in a year? What does this look like for me? Well, after getting like this type of education, when I asked myself that question, I'm like, okay, I can either like do nothing, or I can take the information from this presentation and try to do this on my own. And you're welcome to do that. You know, you may have some knowledge and you may be like, okay, I'm gonna try and do this on my own. And that goes so far. But I can tell you, like, along the journey, there's so much confusion. And then you may say, hey, I'm just ready to stop guessing. I want clarity. I want to stop the confusion, stop the worry, have that personalized plan. So, you know, at the end of 6 months, you have a lifelong plan and your body is healing. All right. You have a plan that's going to catapult you forward for the rest of your life. That's what I want to help you with. That's what I want to help you define is, what does that plan look like for you? Here's some things that we go through in 6 months. We go through mindfulness, we go through food sensitivities, but all of these things, we talk about leaky gut, nutrient absorption, blood sugar balancing, who has a metabolic disorder, sugar metabolism, and things just aren't working right. These things leave you at a thriving standpoint. All right. So how do you get in touch with me? Well, first of all, I'm here. If you're watching this, you're in my group. You can find me anytime here. Send me a message, book a consult. Let's get on the phone. Let's chat about you. I love to build the relationships. This is my calendar link. This is my phone number, my email, and then you can find me on social. I would love to hear from you. All right, let me get back to full screen. Hey, guys. So, again, I am sorry for technical difficulties if you first joined me on Zoom, but I had the presentation I wanted to share, so I couldn't get that through Zoom. Anyway, I'm so thankful that you joined me tonight, and I want to hear from you. I want to hear what you're going through. In the free calendar and the free consult, we simply chit chat. I will share with you things about what you share with, we'll get into you, talking about you. And you'll take a lot from that as well, even if you decide that, you don't need somebody holding your hand for 6 months to ensure success. But I want to give you those tidbits and those nuggets to help you live that fulfilled life. So thank you for joining me tonight. Thank you for trusting me with your time. And my goodness, we're already on the same, like, I already feel a connection because you've come to learn more. And that is just me in my heart. Like, that forever learner, I constantly am feeling like we can take steps in a positive direction and make enhancements to our life. And I want to help you with that. So have a good evening, and I will talk to you soon.